Hello and welcome to Movie Phone Call, a podcast show recorded on my iPhone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 2011 has come to a close, and here we're going to be doing the top 5 countdown to the best movies of 2011. Last week, I had my younger brother join me and discussing the top 5 best movies of 2011. I was actually curious to hear another person's opinion on what their top 5 were. So, the following recording you're about to hear was from Spokane, Washington, with my brother Ryan. Enjoy the show. And with me to do my top 5 countdown of the best of 2011 is my brother, actor, and independent filmmaker, Ryan Shore. Ryan?
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
All right. So, Ryan, I guess I'm going to let you start first with your number 5 pick.
My number 5 pick was The Artist, which came out this year and premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. For those who don't know, it was made this year, and it was made by a French production company, and it's all in black and white, and it's a completely silent film. It pays good respect to the golden age of Hollywood, and it tells the story of an actor who rose to fame, and kind of about his downfall and how he falls in love, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. It's hard. I think for audiences, young audiences nowadays, to respect films that are silent, and I'm glad it got the release it did, because I don't think there's enough films out there that, at least not enough studios out there who are willing to take the leap of making a completely silent film. It's hard to keep people in their seats when you see a silent film. I remember when WALL-E came out, and that movie is 90% silent. And I really respected it. I really did. And so, I'd love to see more movies that take such daring leaps like that. And that's why that's my top 5. And it's just a great film and great, superb acting.
I have yet to see this movie, so it's not going to be my top 5 pick, but it's something I'm really excited to see, and I'm going to try to catch it as soon as possible. My number 5 pick is going to be Source Code, directed by Duncan Jones. He this is his second film, and usually when a beginning filmmaker has a second film, it's usually kind of they call it the sophomore slump, but I didn't really find it to be that way at all in this film. His previous movie, which was one of my favorites from 2009, Moon, he directs Jake Gyllenhaal as he plays a captain in the army who all of a sudden wakes up on a train and has 8 minutes to find a bomb and the bomber. But the catch is that he is inside this sort of pod-like machine, and it keeps sending him back, and he has 8 minutes to re-find that bomb and bomber. So it's sort of like a sci-fi version of Groundhog's Day, I guess. But how he keeps going back, there is some sort of, they maintain a freshness, it doesn't get boring. It always changes every time. And I kind of felt like this movie was like a combination of an Alfred Hitchcock mystery meets Quantum Leap.
How well do you know me?
Not that well, apparently.
Do you know me well enough that if I did something that looked a little strange and was maybe even a little bit dangerous, but I told you to trust me anyway, that you could do that?
No.
Wow, that was honest. You're beautiful, you're kind, and you're painfully honest.
Who are you? And what did you do with Sean Fentress?
It's the new me.
All right, my number 4 this year. Surprisingly enough, I didn't think I was going to like this movie, but I really enjoyed The Adventures of Tintin.
You wouldn't happen to be related to the Haddocks of Marlin Spike Hall, would you?
Why'd you ask?
Well, it's for a story I've been working on. An old shipwreck that happened off the coast of Barbados. A man of war, triple-masted, 50 guns.
What do you know of the unicorn?
Not a lot. That's why I'm asking you.
The secret of that ship is known only to my family. It's been passed down from generation to generation. My granddaddy himself, with his dying breath, told me the tale.
And?
Gone.
I feel like we keep getting Hollywood keeps pushing out these adventure movies like Pirates of the Caribbean 4 and just none of them have hit home for me. I feel like the last really good adventure film I saw was the first Pirates of the Caribbean. And I went into Tintin not really knowing what I was going to go to see. I didn't know Tintin was the kind of story that it was. I had no idea what I was going to see. And honestly, it was really good. I loved all the characters. I was so engaged. There's great suspense, but there's great action. There's just great, set pieces. And I know Peter Jackson and Steven Spielberg teamed up to do motion capture for it. And they add, for every character, they add this great sense of realism, but also they stick to the caricatured look from the comics and the cartoon. And I have to say, I enjoyed it so much, and there's great locations, and I just enjoyed it so much, and I would go to the theater right now and see it again.
And I loved the original cartoon. I think it was on Nickelodeon back in the day. I remember watching that, so
yeah.
It was great, nostalgic seeing that movie. This movie's not on my top 5, but it is definitely an honorable mention for me. I really enjoyed that one too. It was one I saw a few weeks early before its initial release, and I said to myself after watching, I have to go see this with my brothers when I come home for the holidays because it was so fun, and it emitted sort of like a classic Raiders of the Lost Ark feel.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It doesn't show a Raiders of the Lost Ark feel.
And it wasn't really a fantasy either. I mean, it was just an old school adventure film.
It was really, really good. I was so surprised at how much I liked it. And I even looked over at you in the theater, and I leaned over and I said, "This is going to be my top 5" because it was that good. All right, Aaron, you're number 4.
Okay, my number 4 pick. I'm going a little darker here, but I have to give it to David Fincher's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Who is it?
It's Mikael Blomqvist.
Actually, I'm not really up yet.
May I come in, please? Hi. You and I need to talk. I've got us some breakfast. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had some company.
Hey! Who do you think you are?
I'm the guy you know better than my closest friends do.
It really, this is one of those movies I'm really excited about that was coming out. I'm a huge David Fincher fan. The Social Network remains my number 1 favorite movie of this past decade. It's just that's up for another show. But this film was as dark, maybe a little darker than the book. I read the first book. I haven't read the other ones, and I've seen the original Swedish film. And as much as I like the original Swedish film, and Noomi Rapace's performance as Lisbeth Salander was great, that movie did somewhat feel a little disjointed in some aspects. Now, David Fincher's version, I think, moves along more briskly and smoother, and the suspense and mystery is it's well contained, and the cinematography, as always in David Fincher's movies, is just so cool and eerie, and there's always this trademark in his movies. You see it in Seven and Social Network. There's like this green color palette that he likes to play with, and it really adds to the eeriness of this movie. But I mean, the one thing that everyone's gonna be talking about is Rooney Mara's performance as Lisbeth Salander. She probably will get an Oscar nomination, and she might win because she really went all out for this movie. She, the character, has all these tattoos and piercings. The tattoos were fake, but all the piercings on her, including on her, chest area, they were all real piercings. She got real piercings for this role. I was quite, surprised. She shaved her eyebrows, and she really got into that role, and I was just amazed by her performance. She even made me cringe a couple times because her character gets really intense at a couple of scenes. Daniel Craig was also, awesome. I love Daniel Craig. He's awesome. Cowboys and Aliens this year, as much as, it didn't do completely well, he was still awesome in that movie. He's a badass.
Something about Cowboys and Aliens, I thought, is everyone was kind of giving it a bad rap, but if you look at it, I mean, come on, it's purely for entertainment.
It is. It's a popcorn movie.
Yeah, come on. It's you can't take. I don't think it was meant to be taken seriously. You should take it with a grain of salt.
I personally didn't take it seriously. I took it as a summer movie that you go in and have entertainment fun. And the screening I went to was a packed house. Everyone had fun with it, you know. So, but anyways, back to Dragon Tattoo. We're going off topic here, but Daniel Craig was excellent. You know, I thought this was one of his best roles next to his supporting role in Steven Spielberg's Munich. But this was definitely one of my favorite movies of the year, and also one of my favorite David Fincher films. This probably comes into close tie with being as great as Seven.
I'm not surprised at how well it's doing, and I haven't seen it yet. It sounds, and like you said, David Fincher's cinematography, the way I do notice he uses a green palette, and you know how ecstatic I am for a feature film of the comic book series The Goon. And I can tell, because he's working on that, you're right. In the bits of footage I have seen from that movie, in The Social Network, he does have that eerie cinematography, which is interesting, even for the Social Network, something so real, something that it's not in a different reality, you know.
It's in our reality.
Yeah, something that's, pretty, it's what it takes place at Harvard, but he still does have that eerie, stark, cold, and dark cinematography, which...
Yeah, well, no matter how you slice and dice it, there's always going to be these stark, cold characters in his movies. Even The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, I mean, it was a very, happy-go-lucky sort of movie, but, near the end of Benjamin Button's life, you start seeing a certain coldness in the characters, especially Cate Blanchett's. But yeah, so number 4 for me is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
And on to number 3. My number 3 pick for 2011 was X-Men First Class. I remember when it came out, it got rave reviews, and I didn't think it was going to be very good. And I went and saw it, and I really, really enjoyed it. And like everyone said, what they lacked a little bit in effects, they really made up for in the story. And every time I watch it, I get super invested. I get super invested, of course, in Xavier and Eric. And I gotta say, this year has been a year for Michael Fassbender because I freaking love him. He is such a good actor, and I think in the years to come, we're gonna see some great stuff from him. But X-Men First Class, for those who don't know, is obviously the story about the first group that Professor Xavier put together of the X-Men, and it takes place in the 1960s. And it was really good. It was really good. I feel like they gave really good backstory to Eric Lencher, or Magneto, and every scene that Xavier and Magneto are conversing or talking to each other, it's so interesting, because we all know they become enemies, but even when they're enemies, they still have civil conversations with each other. But it's nice to see those conversations when they were friends. And it really hurts you when they split up at the very end. You see what happens and what causes them to split up, and every time I watch it, I just feel so bad, because they're such good friends and they work so well together that you don't want to see them split up.